I remember being like, she's like, "Oh, what are you up to?" I'm like, "I can't let her know. I'm going to the arcade to play Crazy Taxi. I can't like beat, you know." But I let her know I'm going to the arcade to play Crazy Taxi. They have a machine there. And then I remember she's like, "Oh, cool," and she wanted to come. And I remember like that's where I was like, "Okay, this might work. This might work." Because like it's like, you know, you don't want to tell people and I'm gonna go play Crazy Taxi at their arcade when I'm like 30. You know what I mean? like that's, you know, scary. That's a scary thought to reveal that. So no, from henceforth, you know, we were that was a big window into what it would be and what it would become. That's like the beginning of our personal relationship.
Hey, thank you all so much for tuning.
Yes.
That was a good start, right?
Oh, wait, perfect.
Let's do this again.
Oh, perfect. It wouldn't be happening. That's very fitting for with us.
Thematic.
It's thematic with us because we have technical difficulties every
If
day.
I would have wanted to do that, it would have never happened that way. So thank you. Thank you. I'm so grateful.
It's us, not you. It's us.
Funny thing, guys, this is the second time that happens tonight. Like within 10 minutes, my mic is like crashing. But I don't know. This time it was on another spot here.
Oh no.
Well, it's still functioning, right? It's still working, right?
Yep.
Yes, we're all good.
All right. I think I just right. I think I just skipped my intro. Guys, thank you all for tuning in here. We have something really special tonight. We have something different. We are doing another big talk round. I don't know. Some of you guys have watched us quite a few times, right? So if you have catched the big talk we had that time with your big brother Steve and Jander, that was quite hilarious. So let's do this again. And with two other amazing streamers right now here. Welcome. Thank you guys for joining me. Cassie and Vince here.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for being having so much courage, man.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Let me explain quick what Big Talk is, maybe, because you guys didn't know it as well, and maybe some of you guys in the chat don't know what it is. So for those who don't know, it's quite simple. It's just a simple conversation approach to get a more meaningful conversation and a way to learn more about a person, but also about yourself. Because, I mean, it's always the same, right? It's a question you ask yourself that are the most powerful and will help you to see maybe yourself or the world in a different way. And this is what we are trying to do tonight. We are trying to figure out like who is behind Vince and Cassie here, what made them the way they are today. And there are no really words to that. There's nothing
deep-seated,
right? It's nothing wrong. You can say everything is allowed. And you guys in chat, as always, I welcome you and invite you if you want to be give the answers as well in the chat tonight. If you think it's too personal, just have something there to write on a paper, a pen, whatever it is. It could be helpful. Maybe you get some insights for yourself tonight. So let's get started. But before we start, let's do a little small talk. Just a tiny bit of small talk. Can you guys, because I mean, we are all desperate. We are so desperate, want to hear it. Like, how did it all started? How did Cassie and Vince start? What was the first thing? How did you become what you are today?
You go ahead and start this one.
Like from the beginning, or
yeah, like a stream.
Whatever came into your mind, I would say, right? First.
I'd say the first thing that kind of made me ultra comfortable was I remember we went on a first date. And it was like very first date-esque. You know, we would pick her up and we went to a restaurant in LA called Doomie's. And it was like, okay, cool. Like we're having dinner and it was lunch and it was great. And then like, you know, we got stuck in traffic for like hours. I took the long way home so we could spend a little more time together. And it was great. Took her home and that was like a nice first date. Perfect. The way it should be. And then I remember the second time we ever hung out, it it wasn't planned that we're gonna like have a date or anything. I was like, I'm going to the arcade to play Crazy Taxi on the because they have like the pedal and the wheel, the whole thing. And I used to play a lot of Crazy Taxi at the arcade when I was a kid. And I found this arcade, and this is like 4 years ago. I found an arcade that actually had one. And then I remember like, I can't let her know about
When
this.
was that? When was that? By the
This
way?
was like in 2017.
Yeah, it's 2017.
Yeah, this is like
Okay.
4 years ago.
All right.
And I remember being like, she's like, oh, what are you up to? I'm like, I can't let her know. I'm going to the arcade to play Crazy Taxi. I can't like beat, but I let her know I'm going to the arcade to play Crazy Taxi. They have a machine there. And then I remember she's like, oh, cool. And she wanted to come. And I remember like that's where I was like, okay, this might work. This might work. Cause like, it's like, you don't want to tell people and I'm going to go play Crazy Taxi at their arcade when I'm like 30. You know what I mean? like that's scary. That's a scary thought to reveal that. So no, from henceforth, we were that was a big window into what it would be and what it would become. That's like the beginning of our personal relationship. And then there's another relationship that's like a streaming relationship. That's like the beginning. You go ahead and say some stuff though.
No, because at the time Vince wasn't like
a gamer.
Gaming.
I played a little bit the arcade because I took a long break. I took a long break. That's one thing I forgot about to mention. I took a long break from gaming, like years, just didn't play at all. Like put it away. I had a PS3 and like well into PS4's life cycle.
So she brought you back to gaming?
Yes.
Yeah. I left my PS4 at his house.
And I
I'm
told
like,
her,
I'll be back later. It's fine. I'll just leave it here. I'm going to be back tomorrow. There's no point in me bringing it home and then bringing it back. I'll just leave it here. It's fine.
and I pleaded with her. I was like, please don't leave it here. Please don't leave it here. And she didn't really quite understand why. I guess I had like somewhat of an issue with gaming. I got way too into Fallout 3.
Good game.
Yeah, got way too into Fallout 3, got way into Bad Company 2, Battlefield Bad Company 2, and spent way too much time doing that. So I just kind of stopped for years.
Yeah, and then I never stopped. Like that, I was in the height of my problem when we started dating. So I can't remember what we were playing. Why I brought it over.
Can I ask something in between, Craig? Just because
yeah,
I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose it. You said before, for you it was a problem to tell her that you like gaming, because you're already 30. How was it for you, Cassie, on the other side? Like, did you ever have that feeling like you don't want to talk about being a gamer as being a female or whatever it is? Like, have you ever?
No, not so much, honestly, because gaming has always been such a huge part of my own life that I just don't feel like downplaying that part of myself because it's so integral and it's what makes me happy. So if like that's a problem with people around me, then I'm just.
Have you ever?
I don't know. I'm not.
Did you ever experience a situation where you felt like somebody has a problem with that?
I mean, occasionally, but honestly, I am mostly just focused on surrounding myself with
people,
my friends who are into the same thing. Like all of my friends growing up have been into gaming, and
I think like for a dude who's just hitting 30, there's like a stigma maybe of like I don't want to be like a basement dweller, like eating Cheetos and getting Cheeto dust all over my controller, and I think there's like some sort of stigma there, especially like in the dating world. You don't want to like lead with that as a guy.
Yeah, no, I think that's more understandable. Because I feel like there perhaps are.
I was a total basement dweller.
No, you were not. No, but it's just always what's made me happy, and those are the kind of people I chose to surround myself with.
No, that's.
But like
that's
on the internet
actually.
more, but on the internet more. Yes, I would say there's a little
on the
more
internet. What do you mean?
Like the a little more ridicule maybe on the internet, but like in real life, it was never really a problem.
How did you on the internet? How did you experience that?
Like for instance, you would never use comms.
I would never use comms. I would always use gender neutral usernames. And I would hide the fact that I was, you know, a female gamer if I ever played anything multiplayer. It's like I just didn't feel like dealing with that issue of being othered or like less than just because I was female. Just didn't have the energy for that.
Right? Because I mean, in the end, gaming should be relaxing.
Yeah, that was my safe space.
Right. No, that's interesting. So let's go back into the story. So you had your first date. She left she left her PlayStation so you could get into gaming again.
that was actually the catalyst. Like that was, if that didn't happen, there would probably be no stream. Like for real. Like if she didn't leave her PS4 and insist on leaving it, even though like a fiend, I was like, don't. And I seriously, I was like, please don't. I said, please don't leave this here. Because what happened was that night I went to Redbox and I rented Resident Evil 7. And that was it. Like the next day I went to GameStop and I bought a gold PS4. The next day. It was a good deal. It's $250 for it with Terabyte. And I was like, all right, let's do it. Now's the time. Yeah. But that was it. Yeah. Her leaving it at my house was definitely the catalyst to get me right back into it. And that's kind of what sparked the whole thing. And then specifically though, I remember I saw Battlefield 4 on sale for like $15. This was like in 2017. And I'm like, I remember Battlefield 4. I remember going to GameStop for the midnight release of Battlefield 4. And remember midnight releases.
Yeah, I remember.
I'd go there and I'd pick up Battlefield 4 and I remember playing it and it was absolutely horrible. Like I was like falling through the map and like it was super glitchy.
There was right at the beginning?
Yeah, right at the beginning.
Yeah. You can't, you had to wait 3 months.
Yeah. Some say 3 years.
Hell yeah.
But here's the thing, like I played it for like I don't know, a week or so, and then that's when I stopped. So I played Battlefield 4, and in fact, you might even say the release of Battlefield 4 was responsible for me not playing video games for years. But I stopped playing after that. I played for like a week, and I was like, I'm good. It was on PS3. I think it was already coming out for like PS4 at that time or something. I'm a little blurry, but I remember it just being like the great value version of Battlefield 4, and it was like super garbage. And I was like, I'm good. And then years later, I saw it on sale on the PlayStation Store. This is when we're still on console. I was like, okay, let's get back into Battlefield. I used to play
Battlefield.
I loved I remember Bad Company 2. I was like unemployed for like 6 months, kind of by choice. I was still young, and I was like, I don't feel like working for like 6 months. So I just played Battlefield Bad Company 2 every day for like sometimes 14, 15 hours. I was, you know, for me, I was a kid still. So I was like, I live at home and it's whatever. I just want to, you know, chill out and play some video games for 6 months. So basically, flash forward, I got Battlefield 4 and I started playing it. And then Cassie would call me and, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, playing Battlefield 4. Okay, cool. I'll talk to you later. And then she'd call back like 5 hours later. So what's up? Because I'm not texting, I'm not calling, nothing. Radio silence.
Yeah.
She goes, what are you doing? I'm like, just playing Battlefield 4 with Woody and Scott. It's like, who's Woody and Scott? Like my new friends. So I made like new friends that were coming up playing Battlefield, and it was just like amazing, and like it just never stopped. So then Cassie kind of had to change her approach to spending time with me, I think, at that moment.
Because before Vince getting me into Battlefield 4, I didn't play FPS games.
Ever.
Maybe
not even once, huh?
I played RPGs. I played a lot of Skyrim. Yeah, I played RPGs, played Skyrim a lot, Dragon Age, Mass Effect, like all of those. Those what I was really into and what I spent all my time on. And so I didn't play RPGs. I mean, first-person shooters at all. And
Dragon Age.
So my very first time playing a first-person shooter was Vince being like, "Hey, maybe you should get Battlefield 4." Because
and you're like, no.
I was like, I mean, I'm not into shooters, but I mean, I guess I like this guy, so
do you want to talk to me again?
Yeah, do I want to talk to him ever again? So
get used to Woody and Scott.
Yeah. So. So
big question. Do you still know Woody and Scott?
No. No. I remember when I got the headset. Just to we'll go back to that.
Yeah.
But right when I got my headset, like my first like gamer head's a Turtle Beach Stealth 7. I gotta do the voice. Stealth 700. It was a Stealth 700 Turtle Beach. I remember being on comms with them, and they're all screaming like, south side of Objective B, and I'm like, this is freaking awesome.
Immersed.
So yeah, go ahead.
Right. No, so that was my very first introduction into playing a first-person shooter, a PvP. Like I didn't PvP at all either. So it was complete genre change from what I was used to.
How long did it take for you to like it?
Oh,
some say
some say I'm still working. No. It probably took me I would say honestly probably like a year.
Yeah.
To like start enjoying it and playing it for myself instead of just
I was just asking because I had the same with Battlefield 3. Like I started with Battlefield 3 basically. And for me, it took me also like, to get used to. Battlefield is like unique, right?
It was so overwhelming. It was so overwhelming.
It took me quite a while as well.
And it's easy to think you're doing horribly too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because like you think, oh, I died, game over. But it's like, it's not that kind of game. Like you, of course, the way we both play now, and I'm sure a lot of us play now, it's like metrics matter. Playing the objective matters too. But to a lot of us that are here, and a lot of us that are playing and streaming and continue to play, especially like Battlefield 4 and 5 and Hardline, just kidding. Metrics are important. So like it becomes its own game. Like you play the game and that's fun. And for a while it's good enough. And but you still feel like, oh man, I'm dying and like I'm dying more than I'm killing and blah, 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 blah.
I had the experience of being like, yeah, I'm pretty good at games. I'm good at games. I've gamed my whole life. And then you go into a first person shooter PvP game for the first time. Like, I am shit at gaming. Never mind. Backtrack. My identity is crushed. But
who am I?
Yeah, I'm a fraud. I'm one of those fake gamer girls we've all heard about. No. But I remember being so proud the first time I didn't go negative with my KD. That was a good feeling.
Yeah.
But it took me a long time to get the hang of it and then to start enjoying it for myself.
And then the competitive bug hits and you want to get better than yourself. And
yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so 17 it started, right?
Yeah.
And then when did you decide to how did it happen? The whole process of getting married, and then I think 2 days later you already moved to Texas, right?
Yes.
So this is quite a journey, I would say, and risky, right?
Yeah.
Can you give us a little bit, like, explain how the process, what happened there? How did you deal with the fear also to do all of this together?
Well, so I guess it happened with the whole like COVID-19 was a big catalyst.
Yeah.
That was the push. We both work in like with the public a lot, and not you guys, of course, in chat. You guys are great, but like I can't stand the public. I can't stand it. And when you mix COVID-19 with like working with the public changes, and there's like it's just more manic and a little bit more it's just a lot more stressful.
It's a lot more stressful.
So you add human behavior plus COVID-19 plus full-time work management, it just becomes
every day was chaos.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah.
Like I'd be crying in the car and shit.
Yes.
And Cassie too.
Yeah.
It was just really horrible to deal with people. And again, not you guys in chat. You're the only good people in the world. But just kidding. But yeah, dealing with the public during
and where we lived, we grew up in California, but California is very expensive. And in order to maintain having a home, we had to work a lot during that stressful time. And it was the push to move somewhere maybe a little more affordable, take a leap of faith so we didn't have to like stress ourselves out to that extreme every single day.
Because just a window into the day, it would be 9 a.m. We'd probably wake up, and then we would start stream at 10 a.m. And then we go to work at 1, and we get home at 10, start stream by 10:30, be in bed by like 3 a.m. and then wake up at like 9 again, like every day.
Every day, just to keep afloat.
How did
so it was like full time.
Can you give me an example of how of a stressful situation you had outside with the public?
So basically, working in like the kind of work I do, I sell guitars, and I work in a place where a lot of contact is being made with like our product and stuff like that. So like we can't have people coming in running amok and trying guitars and, you know, licking their fingers and stuff like that. Like we can't have people doing that. So we have to have a line. Like a lot of businesses had lines to get in, and we have people just like not understanding that, like, okay, there's a virus going around, and this is just something we have to do to cope. So you're gonna have to wait, you're gonna have to be an adult. People just can't be adults. They can't. So that was that was probably one of the biggest hurdles, is people just having to grow up and realize that like we're all in this together. We have to coexist. You can't just me and everything's about you and about, you know, I got to go in and get this. It's like, no, you need to grow up. and I think a lot of people adapted. A lot of people you found that, you know, their true colors out, and I think that was the biggest hurdle, and the biggest challenge is just dealing with irate people who don't understand that it's not all about them.
And for me, I worked in an essential business where we sold, you know, at the beginning we sold the masks, so people were manic over those when everything was first starting to hit, and
potentially fighting with each other.
Yes. So we'd get a pallet of N95s in, and they would rip it off the pallet before it even like hit the floor. And that was the environment.
So you have.
Sorry, I'm laughing, but it is so stupid, and it happened all over the world. Like, you know what happened in Germany, where they were fighting about toilet paper. This is why we got in the news, because they were fighting about toilet paper. Like, well, it's kind of sad, because you see, you know, how humanity reacts in situations like these. But on the other side, I feel, did you ever feel like your companies you're working for were, well, leaving you alone in these situations a little bit?
Absolutely.
Her more than me, for sure. Hers.
I worked customer service in a retail essential environment. I didn't get laid off at all.
No furlough.
Nothing. I was just thrown into it. It's like, okay, so your job now is everything you were doing and these 20 other things. And good luck. We're not going to provide you with PPE. You know, here's the public. Have fun.
Yeah. It's a zoo.
Yeah.
It's a zoo.
So already working in customer service.
Guidelines that people don't abide by, but like you can't enforce them.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to enforce anything.
So it was just like very like, okay, do I care about myself? Or do I care about these people that are super selfish, that don't care about anything else other than themselves? Like, and I'm not like trying to be like, I hate everyone. Like, I don't. But when you work in retail, you kind of hate everyone.
The way people behave. The way people behaved was very disappointing.
Yeah. That is the best way to put it. We're not mad. We're just disappointed.
It makes you sad, because you're expecting kind of everyone should behave like how you want to be treated, you know? Treat each other and well, in the end, like you said, everyone is thinking about themselves first. And I think a big thing for people is really that they somehow felt like you're taking away my freedom, you know, I
looked at it as we just got to get through it. And whatever we do, whatever we have to do to get through it quicker, I'm super on board with. Period. That's where that was my outlook on it. There's no like, you're taking this away and you're doing this. It's like, yo, chill out for a little bit, wait it out. It'll be over. And then in 5 years, we'll be like, remember that one time we had to stay home? And yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it'll be. It'll be in our past, and we'll just look back on it as a thing that happened.
Yeah.
The end. It's not going to be anything more than that. Or maybe it's, who knows, conspiracies.
Yeah,
who knows.
But yeah, just my personal experience was I went from already being yelled at every single day by the public to being yelled at for 20 more things while they were 6 inches from my face during a pandemic, but we didn't understand how the virus worked yet. It was just.
Are you still working in retail now that you moved? Yeah.
Yes, I'm still with the same company.
Do you feel is it different in Texas? Are the people different for you, or is it the same?
The people are different. I think there is less. I'm trying to word this very carefully. There's less consideration here. There's less consideration here for other people when it comes to COVID specifically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So but I'm dealing with less people overall. Mm-hmm. So that's the balance.
Yeah, it's a higher like cluster of stress, but it's a shorter burst.
Yeah.
So it's not constant stress, but it's like higher stress, but then like
in smaller amounts.
In smaller amounts, because we cut back on our jobs a few days. Mm-hmm. So now we're kind of like, we're out there for a little bit. We come back home and we get to just kind of chill out. We would kind of be like that either way, though. Like when the pandemic hit, like nothing really changed much for us. We just played Battlefield and sat at home anyways.
Yeah. So our personal lives did not change. Mm-hmm. But our work lives did, and it is Lilu. We couldn't deal with that anymore. At least I knew I could not deal with it anymore. So we had to do something, and if it was taking a leap of faith and moving 1,000 miles to better ourselves and our lives, if only for a little bit, just to get through this, ordeal the whole world's going through, then that's what we were going to do.
I guess the question, if you regret it, is no. The move to Texas?
Overall, I would say no. Because our personal lives have improved a lot. Just we're able to be home more.
There are drawbacks. So like we don't see our family.
Yeah, I miss my family.
So there's drawbacks too, but then there's also like when it comes down to it and it's our life, it's just no one's going to come save us. No one's going to come alleviate the pressures. We're going to have to do that ourselves. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to that aspect, it was a good thing to do. But there are other things that, like missing family and missing friends and
missing
it's a little isolated. Yeah, it's there's like a feeling of isolation being so far away from everyone we know. Mm-hmm. But the day-to-day is better. If that makes any sense.
Well, you got to get out to meet new guys, new friends. Yeah. And it's difficult with COVID and everything, right? I mean, I was asking myself that the whole time, like, how are singles dealing with that situation, Like, you're not even able to meet anyone. I mean, now you can again, but it definitely makes people who are introverted, probably it's a lot harder for them now. Well, interesting. So when did you start streaming, though? 17, you got back into gaming.
Yeah.
And then when did you start streaming?
It was when Solo came out, the Star Wars movie Solo.
Mm-hmm. We were together for about a year or so.
So was it in 2018? It was in 2018, right? Battlefield came out in 2018. Battlefield 5. When did Battlefield 5 come out, Mizzy? Was it 2018?
It's all a blur.
I think so. 3 years ago. 3 years. I think. It wasn't 4 years ago. Okay, Bloody Slayers was 2018. So
so it was like the months leading up to it.
Like 6 months leading up to Battlefield 5. So that's I don't know if Battlefield 5 was the start, but I think it was very like, okay, we're playing Battlefield 4 a lot. Didn't play 1. We'll probably get into that in a bit. I didn't really like 1 all that much. It's probably one of my least favorite Battlefields. Sorry to people who love Battlefield 1. It's just personal preference. Wasn't my favorite. So I didn't play it a lot. We played 4 up until about 6 months before 5 came out.
Mm-hmm.
And then we switched to 1 just to be like, okay, is 5 going to be closer to 1? We should get used to it. So the whole stream started when I remember we're in a parking lot and we saw Solo, and then we went to GameStop and I kind of just bought a PS4 camera. I just kind of bought it. I'm like, I'm going to buy it. I'm just going to buy the camera. And it wasn't planned. It was just very like, I'm going to do this, like, period. I'm just going to do it. It's going to be fine. So I started doing it. And then, oh, how dare you have opinions? Sorry, Ben. Sorry, bro. My bad, dude. That's kind of how it started. It started with just like a kind of impulsive. I'm just going to do this. And then I noticed that basically me coming from like a musical background and like touring and playing in bands and stuff, it was kind of like I stopped doing that for a long time, and it was kind of nice to honestly get that attention. I guess that's just like the most.
Well, I mean, you're used to performing, and streaming was a different stage.
Yeah. So I guess like without a lack of better words, it's that attention and that performance that, even though you're just playing video games, you're still putting on like a personality. You're still doing a kind of show. Like you right now, there's production quality. There's things you're doing to prepare. Instead of hauling in gear from a van, you're sitting down, you're setting up your scenes. Like there's a sense of like building something and showcasing what you've built. And I found that really pretty much replaced the feeling I had from playing in bands and playing in music and like playing music and stuff like that. So that's kind of where it started. So as a musician, there's kind of this they call it like tone chasing and calling it GAS. You call it GAS, gear acquisition syndrome. And the same exact feeling translates to gaming, streaming, and like PC. Like it's the same feeling of like, okay, cool. I want to get this mouse. What kind of feet are, what kind of skates are on the mouse? What kind of mouse pad should I have? What kind of keyboard should I have? Oh, I want to get like an IPS monitor for this, and I want to get like a TN panel for this for higher refresh rate. And then you start going into webcams. Oh, I want a high resolution camera that works well in low light. Then you go, I want a DSLR camera. Then you go, I need better lighting. It just snowballs, just like when you're a musician, it snowballs with I want this guitar and these pickups and these strings and these chords. It's like an obsession. And I'm pretty sure everyone in this chat, everybody here right now knows exactly. I'm sure Mizzy, you know what I'm talking about.
I wish, man. I just don't have ever money to buy anything. It's terrible. It's terrible, man. I play on a broken PS4 on a broken controller. No, it's okay. I just never. I'm always juggling and have to decide what I spend my money for. And I don't know if you know, but I have 2 small kids, and in the end,
yeah.
I'm always save a little bit money for that or that. It's just not on my priority list. But yeah, I totally get you there. I have a list. I just never buy that.
Got it. Yeah. Julian's like, I need the best stuff.
And the thing is, it's not only just like wanting like the best stuff for yourself, it's a personal experience.
Yeah.
It's crafting exactly how you want your streaming experience, your gaming experience to be for you in the most satisfying way.
Did you buy everything then twice? By the way, did you buy everything twice immediately, or you buy? I mean, that's like kind of expensive, right? I mean, we are talking about probably like I don't know, 5K or something here together.
Yeah, it kind of all shakes out the same because not everything we would have to buy twice, but there are things you would buy for your own stream anyway.
I'm seeing the stream setup right now, and I'm seeing almost a mirror image of everything that's twice.
Yeah, never mind. I'm backtracking.
I wanted to ask, like, tell me who's sitting where, but I guess it's on the left side it's you, Vince, and on the right side it's Cassie.
Yes.
Right. I wanted to ask you. So what do we see in this? It's so tiny. I wish. Can I zoom in? It's just wait. So it's just tiny on my end here.
On the left side, we're like just kind of go through our setup here.
Yeah, please.
Oh, cool. So Secret Lab Titan on my end because I got big old buns, and then Cassie's got my old Omega. So like that used to be mine for not that long. I had it for like 5 months, and then I got the Titan. I'm like, okay, you need your own chair. I gave her the Omega.
Yeah, I was using a broken office chair for a hot second.
A creaky ass,
fuck.
creaky office chair.
Every time I would move, it'd just like ruin the stream. It would just ruin the stream every time
and you hear like clack, 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 clack. It's like, jeez.
Yeah, it was horrible.
And I'd be like, stop moving. We're trying to talk.
Yeah. And meanwhile, like I have a TV balanced on the desk, hoping it doesn't fall.
Oh, I wish I would have sent you, Mizzy. I wish I would have sent you our
setup?
old setup.
It's come a long way.
Oh,
It
so
wasn't like
horrible.
this from the beginning. It was
It was
do you have it?
trashier.
Do you have it there now? Just send it to me. I put it.
Oh, I don't know. Let me see.
but yeah,
Nah, it's okay. If it's too complicated, don't.
Yeah, I had
Would
to
be
go
fun.
back in my phone years, but we're
Just-
talking like
Yeah.
a TV balanced on a bass amp.
because it doesn't have a stand on it.
Did you see my picture
So-
today for me setting up because I forgot my tripod and work? Did you see how I?
No,
Oh,
no.
Well, this is exactly what you're describing right now. This is how
Just like balancing things on top of stuff and
And then that's what this picture is, though. This is
years.
of accumulation and work. It didn't start out like this at all.
Yeah, it started off
and that's the
super
funny thing,
jank.
right? Like I feel like people who are starting streaming, they think like, everything easy, I set it up and then I start streaming. But streaming is like building a website. It's a constant process of
Yeah, and you're never
making it
done.
bad. You're never done, right? You're never
Yeah,
done. You
yeah.
just and it's always something else which is not working, or or whatever it is. And I feel like if you don't have the right mindset for this particular thing, then you're frustrated pretty easy and you give up.
Yeah.
Squeezy remembers when she had the creaky chair.
Shit, yeah.
He remembers the creaky chair. Oh my
Yeah.
god, dude.
Because I was in the creaky chair. I had a broken amp as my desk. And
I love it.
I was balancing the TV without a stand
And we're
on
in a
it.
garage.
We're in a garage.
So
Balancing
very,
it.
very like meager beginnings. Like
Yeah.
like
And the TV would fall over during stream, and I'd have to like drop my controller and catch the TV and put it back up and keep playing and hoping I didn't get killed during that time.
That's hilarious, guys. I love it. What
So-
is your? Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
go ask. I got nothing.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm totally good.
What is the most awkward situation you had in your gaming career so far?
I think when Aussie Antics rated us with like 2,000 or 3,000 people, our stream collapsed. Like our capture card stopped working, but we basically needed a full reset of our PC.
Yeah,
we needed
we-
to reset our PCs.
We had to restart.
And
Yeah,
then
restart
everyone
the
was
stream.
gone. And then everyone
Pretty
was gone.
much.
Almost
Yeah.
everyone.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
There was maybe like 60 to 80 people
Yeah.
roughly, which is like for me and like for us, like 60, 80 people is like, oh, well, dude, look at us. We're streaming. Like we're
Yeah.
streamers. Check that out.
Right. Mhm.
But like
Yeah.
we had thousands of people in there
Yeah.
and it just went to garbage. The
Yeah.
whole thing stopped working like the second they came in.
Yes.
And we tried everything we could to keep keep it going without having to restart.
Yeah. Trying to
that-
like fake our way through it, trying to reset what we could in OBS while we were live.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But then
But-
it's balanced with like, okay, one time Russian Badger, a YouTuber, rated us and that went well. So it's like, and one time we got like second hand rated by Shroud. Shroud rated Wicked, and then
And
Wicked rated
rated
us. So it's
Ah.
like there's give and take. There's been great times. So like trust me, when it happened with Aussie Antics, I was so pissed. I was so pissed.
it ruined
Mhm.
well,
It ruined my life. I'm just gonna let you know. It ruined my life.
it was no, it upset us for a few days
Yeah.
because we feel like we had an opportunity to like showcase what we do, because this was like the current version of the stream that this
Yeah.
happened is with like how our scene switch, how it is
By the way, our scene switch took us
years.
years to craft and
Yeah.
figure out how to get one button to switch our perspectives and have them look like the way they do. I'm sure that
Yeah.
there's people out there who have figured it out, maybe that have done it way easier, but we found our own way to do it. And it took us a lot of late nights trying to figure out how to get her audio routed, my audio routed, Discord routed to her and to me. It's insane the amount of routing we have.
So it felt like years of crafting that. And then we had an opportunity, a big opportunity to show what we've spent years working on, crashed and burned immediately. And it was really defeating.
Yeah. Yeah. That was probably the worst thing I can think of.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
What did you learn from it?
That's the sad part, is that Windows updates and things like that can just ruin everything. And there's not really anything you can really do other than to hope that the forced update doesn't change your configuration or doesn't, hopefully it communicates with your current hardware well. That's the scary part about like Windows 11 out now. Like now we're on Windows 11. I'm like, I don't want to touch Windows 11. I want to keep everything working the way it is. Things finally work now. So that to learn though, it's tough, because when things just go wrong due to incompatibility or certain drivers not working, there's not much you can do. Basically what Squeezy says, the panic sets in, and then you're just like, oh, what's going on? And you're just sweating. You're just like, oh dude, it's awkward, it's cringe. You're like, oh no. Maybe we should have just done something else, IRL, just chatting, but that would have been, I don't know.
It's not what we do.
It's not what we do. Yeah, it's not what we do. So and we're not like necessarily prepared for something like that. We're prepared to play Battlefield and Apex and Resident Evil and Mega Man. We got these things that we kind of do sometimes, but we weren't prepared to have our stuff not work. That was some scary stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't even start with a big talk question yet. And that's interesting. But it's so interesting to your story. But let me throw in one question. Let me see, because we talked also about so much already. You know what? Because you said how you feel about your work. If all jobs had the same pay, what job would you like to have?
Oh man.
I would probably, based off of what we do right now, I'd love to just stream and that would be it. Like based off of just like the amount of commitment we put to it and the amount of money we've sunk into the setup and stuff like that. It's a labor of love, and like we've dedicated a lot to it and sacrificed a whole lot for it. So first and foremost, the first thing that comes to mind is like, streaming. I want to be, broadcaster. I want to be a content creator and talk about tech and mice and mouse pads and keyboards, and that's what I want to do. Now something a little bit more or a little less related would be, I would like to work in like a recording studio, like doing drum edits and guitar edits and recording musicians and stuff like that. That would be probably unrelated to streaming. That would be what I would be doing, I think.
Yeah, I would probably agree with the commitment that we have with our stream first, and then an unrelated career path. I would probably do something either with animal care, because I'm really passionate about animals and their well-being, whether it's wildlife or domestic. So I would probably do something with animal care.
Sweet.
What do you think is holding you back, guys?
From doing like what we want to do other than the stream. The world of being a musician it's really hard to get into. Like I was like signed to labels twice, and it equated to nothing. And I was in a band where everything was given to us. Like I was spoiled in one of these bands, like given a tour bus and given equipment, given absolutely everything. Like we rehearsed where Linkin Park rehearsed, like we're given everything, and it still kind of came crashing down. So I guess it's knowing that it's not necessarily up to the amount of hard work you put into it or how much of a leg up you have. it feels like luck. I think that's what's holding me back. It's almost like the stars need to align for things to work out. And that's the scary part about pursuing something that requires you to give your all. It requires you to live in your car, to be jobless. It requires a hard lifestyle. And I think that for a while when I was younger and just a single guy, if I got to sleep in a studio floor, if I got to, shower at the gym or in a bathroom, that's fine. But then as time went on, it became less attractive to live that way. I think that's what's holding me back from that. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. And I always thought that growing up, like if I'm not playing music when I'm older, if I'm not doing that, like that's it. Like I have to be playing music. And there's a part of me that still wants to do that. But I think knowing what it takes and knowing that I can't give that anymore is what holds me back from doing it. And it's not that I even want to do that. It's become less attractive over time, a lifestyle.
Didn't the whole music industry also change a lot over the last 10 years because of, music streaming services and everything?
Yes. So it used to be that like you get signed to a label and they give you support and they'll not necessarily pay your way without having, of course, pay it back. But they give you a platform. They put you out. They do certain things. The way it works now is you're given like a percentage of like earnings, and most of it comes from the shows and you sell merch that goes straight to the gas tank to get to the next city. And it's like a very sink or swim scenario when you're on tour and stuff. It's very like, oh, okay, here's your per diem, which is like the amount of money they give you per day to eat, which is like sometimes nothing, sometimes it's $5, which is cool. That's like some label support, but it's very like, all right, bud, see how good you can do. And it's like, it's not like it used to be, even in an industry kind of outlook. It's a lot different. People are doing things on their own. They don't need labels. They do things independently, and that takes a ton of work too. Just like it's very similar to like streaming. It's very similar to building a brand.
It doesn't matter which kind of creative work you go there. It is a lot of work.
Yeah. It's almost the same as streaming. From my experience of doing music and doing streaming, it's the same amount of you've got to put yourself out there and you've got to look as presentable as possible, whether it's in your content, your appearance, your graphics, your layouts. Everything has to be a certain way, just like it would be if you're playing music, and just like if you're trying to get someone to not necessarily buy into your brand, but to have some sort of allegiance to your brand and like what you do and want to come back. It's the same thing. Yeah. Go ahead.
By the way, Brand, your Twitch channel is Vinceisgraphic, right? Did you ever think? Yeah. Did you ever thought about rebranding it to Cassie and Vince, or are there any plans for it? Or
yes, not? There is. So I guess it comes down to knowing exactly when, because I'll just have like a moment of like being candid here a little bit. There was like we lost like a ton of support and stuff like that over the past like year or so.
How's that?
Something happened. I don't know what it is. Maybe I suck. I don't know. I'm not sure what the problem was.
I think it more has to do with just how the world was at the time and what we were able to bring to stream after being in a retail environment during a pandemic.
Yeah.
I think that probably had a lot to do with it.
So like momentum was lost.
Yeah. We got burnt.
We got burnt out essentially. So maybe that led to me not being the personality that I'd like to be. We all want to be better. We all want to be as good as possible, So basically now that things are kind of being a little turned around, like things are getting a little bit better as far as like the stream goes and kind of the consistency in which we can stream, and our vibe is getting better, and our personalities are kind of returning back to kind of where they used to be. Like everything's a little more fun. I don't know when the perfect time to do it is, because rebranding is like a scary thing to do when things are going the right way. Like you don't necessarily want to rebrand when things are like turning around, because you're like, oh, is that going to affect the momentum? And that's like a scary thing too.
Because isn't it affect the way people recognize who you are?
Yeah, yeah.
If they somehow miss the memo that there's a name change, or
it's like changing your band name, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Some
I
people
get
just-
it.
just
I get
miss
it. But I'm just thinking, like, would it really matter if you do it tomorrow or do it in a half a year? And if you say you got burned anyways right now, maybe right now is actually the right time, you know?
Maybe, yeah, yeah.
I
it might
have
be
no idea. I'm just thinking right now loud.
yeah, it's like we talk about it
all the time.
all the time.
All the time. We talk about it all the time.
It's so, but I totally understand. It's so difficult.
Yeah.
Like rebranding a whole channel, it's not just, changing the name. It's changing everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, you definitely do it with a taste of being serious about what you do. So yeah, of course you're thinking about that, more than twice. But it's interesting.
yeah.
I was wondering, like, why is it not Vince and Cassie? And do you think about rebranding it? But I guess
we think about it often. Well, it started with
Thank
me like making everything, and I made like the graphics, and I did like the channel, and then it turned into like,
like you decided to stream independently from, like, it wasn't like our idea to stream. It's just something, I'm just gonna kind of do it, and I'm like, okay, cool, that's cool, you do that kind of thing. It's like we were still like, I don't know, it was like a new thing too.
yeah. But then as time goes on, it's definitely become like our thing. So things might change. Yeah, name might change and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm not like against it or anything. It's just knowing when a good time would be,
and then what to change it
and
to.
what to change it to. And that's another thing too. It's like, it's a hard decision.
Yeah, I get it.
And if you Google Vinceisgraphic, like all of our stuff comes up.
Yeah.
If you Google something else, nothing will come up. And that's like kind of scary too.
Yeah, I feel you. Well, but I mean, if you want to change it anyways, the longer you wait, Just
Yeah.
It's just, you don't
I
know.
have a stupid question. Also for you in the chat, guys, what is the most stupid thing you have ever done just for fun? And I want to hear the chat too. I want to hear your stories, guys. What's
a stupid thing I've
What's the
done for
most
fun?
stupid thing you have ever done just for fun?
Stupidest thing I've done for fun.
Thank
I don't
you,
do a lot
Q.
of risky things. Go ahead.
Okay, so I was about to say I am not a risk taker at all.
It doesn't have to be risky. It can.
But I thought of something because it wasn't risky, but it's stupid, but it was so fun. Remember that summer Pokemon Go came out?
Yeah.
That was my favorite summer because my friends and I, we'd be out all night, every night, playing Pokemon Go with completely random people in a park somewhere, at 3 a.m. And I think that, it's like, it's kind of stupid because you're out playing like a, phone game with a bunch of strangers in the middle of the night, which you would never do under any other circumstance.
Yeah, true.
Ever.
True. I can't think of one where you go out and you're like, oh, hey, random person. It's usually like, oh, get away from me, random person. I'm
still friends with people on Instagram that I've met playing Pokemon Go that summer.
Nice. So
I think that's probably the first thing that pops to my mind that I think is just so fun, and it was a great experience.
I'm drawing a blank. I'm drawing a blank. I'm drawing a blank, and I'm pretty sure if it's something, it's probably something that I can't talk about. It's like the things that come to mind are like super degenerate. Like you can't say this and be an internet personality or streamer. Like
to be honest, I have the same thing. Like I have so many stories. I did so many stupid things in my 20s. Like I could fill a whole evening with that. I ended up like waking up in places I don't even know how I got there, and like there's been adventures, but I don't think I could really get into that and still retain like a sense of professionalism in what I do. Let's meet someday on Gamescom or something, and then I will buy you guys a drink and you tell me.
Nice.
All right, I give you another question, but this is fun. What quirks do you have? What strange?
Oh man. Oh no.
So we're both kind of gremlins. We're both
I would
gremlins.
almost say I'm more of a gremlin.
You might be more of
are.
a gremlin then. You might be more of a gremlin.
You're just trying to be polite.
For instance, like our cat, there's a voice for our cat.
Oh my god.
And you think like you see a little orange baby, little orange cat, and you think like, oh, it's a cute little cat, it's a kitty. But the cat's voice is like, oh, I sure like some pate right now. That's the cat's voice.
Yeah, let's
So,
show the cat again.
As we interact with our cat, we both kind of talk in this like,
because like everyone has like little voices for their animals, and at least I think they do.
orange baby.
She looks so beautiful. How old is she
gorgeous.
there? How old is she there? Like
she's probably 3-4
months?
weeks there.
3
No,
weeks?
she's
month?
probably like 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
8 weeks.
Okay.
8 weeks.
A little
Yeah.
bit closer to 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like 8 weeks when we brought her home. That was the first day we brought her home.
Hey,
That
Kelly.
picture.
Damn.
And but yeah, her voice is a little like heavy smoker.
Yeah.
Really?
Like, oh, I sure like to be bad. That's her voice. That's
Like,
our
You
that's
need to
how we-
record that. Put it on your stream deck.
Oh
Damn.
my god.
You need to record that shit,
Yeah,
man. That's so funny.
That's the voice we have
I
for
love it.
her.
And that she's a Texan cat, so she says like, I'm fixing to be bad.
Yeah, because like we got her in Texas. She's from Texas, so she
She says things like y'all and fixin'. That's how she is. But like, all right, that's kind of like one of our quirks. Is like, we'll talk to our cat, and it's like heavy smoker voice, and that's her voice for some reason.
yeah makes
maybe
zero sense.
You can pick one now, maybe.
Like, man,
That's funny.
just quirks that we have.
Almost everything.
We're just like
Almost everything we do.
idiots
Like
for fun.
right now, we're being kind of like, we're on a podcast with Mizzy. We want to
Be people.
be people, but for the most part, especially if like you watch our stream, it's like a lot of like me being totally weird and Cassie like dancing on the side and
yeah.
But that's you're living. There's nothing quirky about that, to be honest. Come on. Like, no, for real. Like, I feel like it's so hard I started streaming because I wanted to learn how it is to stream, and I wanted to learn about the issues streamers have. Like, everything from Missy to GWC was kind of connected because I needed to learn what are your problems. And I feel it's so difficult to be in front of the camera and just be yourself. But if you have this momentum and you are yourself, these are the best moments, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and then coming from like the background that I came from, it's totally natural. Like it's totally normal
And it's the opposite
to be in front of a camera.
for me. It's the opposite for me
Yeah.
because I believe it. I mean, I'm a very anxious person, actually. I'm very like a shy person, but I feel like streaming has really like broken me out of that shell so much. Like,
Yeah, I remember the first time I was like, "Come on, be on camera." She's like, "No, I'll just be a voice. I'll just be a voice." I'm like, "No, come
Do you
come on,
remember how much you had to convince me?
Yeah. So basically, I had to borderline beg her to get on camera, and she didn't want to at all. So that's the kind of like personality she has. She didn't want to be on camera.
I was
I
avoid
don't-
talking on comms too.
I don't think did you guys, I don't know who saw the intro, but I think I think there was in one clip you saw that you were sitting more like in the back and Vince was playing, right? In the beginning it was like that, right? You were just sitting beside him and he was playing and you were kind of commentating, right?
And then a lot of that's if we're playing like a single player game. So sometimes I'll spectate what she's doing, and as a support too, because like sometimes you play games and you kind of have to figure something out. And it's nice to have another person there to kind of like
play off of,
talk with, chat, and to kind of like interact with. It works out really. It's really nice. It's like similar to having someone on comms. But in the very beginning, Cassie was just a voice for a while. She was just in comms. But like it was more than that.
She was not even in camera.
No, she wasn't even on camera. But it was like much more than just having someone on comms. It was like if you have a radio show and you have someone that you're playing off of.
You're co-hosting.
It was a co-host. It was never like, oh, she's just in comms giving me call outs. It's like, no, I really depended on on the interaction, especially starting out. It's really nice to have someone to riff with and make jokes with. And that's kind of how it
Cassie,
started.
the
Exactly.
commander.
Yeah. So it's really nice to kind of have that. But that's how it started. So it started with just like me, and then like, hey, get on comms. And she didn't want to do that. But then she kind of broke out and did that. And then it was like, hey, get on camera. And then it turned into, then it kind of snowballed into let's build PCs. And then I had an idea, and I don't think you knew what I was gonna do at first. But the plan was, I was like, I'm gonna figure out how to do like a dual stream, and to get both of our captures on stream and be able to switch between both of them. That was like my goal. I wanted to get to that point. So we built PCs, and then eventually it turned into, okay, she came over a couple times a week, and she'd bring her PC and her monitor and everything with her. She'd load up her whole gear.
Yeah.
Exactly. LAN party 2 to 3 times a week. And she'd come down, and we'd set everything up every week, and we'd do like 2 dual streams every week for like, that was like maybe for like a year almost. We'd do like occasional dual streams.
Yeah.
But it was like,
otherwise I'd be in comms.
Otherwise she'd be in comms. So that's kind of how that started. So for a while it was just me and her on comms, and eventually it turned into like, I want this to be what it is now. And then we both slaved away to make it what it is now, as far as like both on camera, both scenes, being able to switch between both of them, and audio. The audio switching was probably the hardest part. I forgot what we were even talking about, but it kind of went to this. But that's kind of how it got to where it is now. And that's where like, I guess her personality is what she was saying.
Yeah, like I've really evolved with, I would even say that it's positively impacted my ability to navigate the real world too. Because I don't know, just being in front of a camera and talking to a bunch of people all day, every day is life-changing.
Yeah.
Especially if it's not something you were ever comfortable with. I was never a performer. I always had, the amount of friends you could count on a hand.
It reminds me of something. It reminds me of something I read somewhere. I can't remember who said it, but he said basically, every person should at least once in life go on a stage and have and do a speech. And this year is very similar for me, because you're in front of the camera, you have to talk by yourself, you have to be, just chill and relax. And this is so difficult. But the more you do it, the more you get used to it, right? And the better you get.
Yes.
So
it's very natural for me now.
It's really something where you can grow as a person. Like also, like when I asked some people if you want to join to the podcast, and then some people are backing out just because they're afraid of being on camera. And I once I actually wrote this back. I said, though, if you ever feel like you want to do it just for yourself, so you have done it one time, to challenge yourself in a way, I'm here. Just let me know.
That's a really nice thing to do. That's a nice, because it keeps the door open, and they can maybe like back out of their back out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, let's do it. I hope that some of them do that, because this is totally not a bad vibe. Anyone who out there who didn't go on Missy's podcast, just do it. It's not like,
and I really mean just for yourself. If you feel like, I feel like if you set like small challenges in your life, like where you can do something to step out of your comfort zone, it's something which helps you develop as a person. And that can be anything, really, anything you feel not comfortable doing,
Absolutely.
Let's pick up another question. You know what? 4th of July. What are you thankful for right now?
Of 4th of July?
No, general, like in life. What are you thankful for right now? Which comes to
thankful for. Definitely the community and the friends we have here on Twitch. That's like super, super important to us. It's pretty much what we live for every day. It's an everyday kind of thing. Like, I'll talk to dudes and girls in chat more than I talk to my family. As unfortunate as that sounds, it's not unfortunate.
But it's like, it's all day, every day.
It's all day, and it's every day, and it's for 8 hours at sometimes a day, and it's cool. So I'm definitely thankful for that. I'm thankful for Cassie that deals with a lot of like me obsessing over things. That's like a big I don't know if it's a problem. I think it's just more of like a personality type, but it can be a problem, and she deals with that a lot. So I'm very thankful that she just kind of deals with me like going down rabbit holes, whether it's about like the stream or gear or like mouse pads. Like I have a weird thing about mouse pads right now.
Yes.
I saw a picture of like 10 mouse pads. I was wondering, like, did he send it to me on purpose? And I wanted to ask you, what is about these mouse pads?
So that's kind of one of the obsessions. Before it was like mice.
Oh no, you're he's ready.
And I have like 3XM1s that I have a problem.
So he'll find something new having to do with gear, like different mouse, like different mice, different shapes, different weights, and he'll go down that rabbit hole and he'll want to try them all. And then once he finds what he likes in a category, he'll move on to a new category. So he found his favorite like mouse type was just like the XM1 and the G Pro and the G Pro Superlight. Yeah. And then so he's like, okay, cool. I like the Superlight. I play the Superlight now.
But I'm using a pleb mouse pad.
So he's got to like explore all the different types of mouse pad options, see how that goes. And I'm sure once he finds his favorite mouse pad, which he's kind of started to settle a little bit.
I hope.
So he's been rocking this one for a bit. He comes back to this one all the time, the Artisan Heian. So I'm curious to see. I think you're going to get back into keyboards. I think that's your next category.
Why don't you?
You're going to revisit the keyboard category.
Why don't you integrate that in your YouTube? Do you have a YouTube channel? Yes, you do, right?
That is happening. That's happening.
I mean, it's very specific knowledge you have there, you know?
Yeah. It's I exercise the knowledge on stream sometimes. Sometimes we'll go into like like we have cameras for our mice, which also double as like a camera that we can show and tell and go through different stuff, go through different equipment and mouse and stuff like that. And sometimes I'll go into tangents with viewers, and I love it. That's like one of my favorite things to do is talk about like mouse feet. Like these are just sitting here. These are all different skates for mice, all different skates. And I'll talk about that with viewers and stuff like that. It's a little weird.
I like it. I mean, you have a lot of stuff you could share, you know.
Like, and then like
so
being
much
able
potential,
to
guys lying around, you know.
Exactly. And that's kind of what you're suggesting is kind of what I've been thinking too. That like we've got a lot of like little things that make tiny minute differences, but there are tons of people out there just like me who obsess over this stuff, who obsess over the stitching of a mouse pad. Like I can't even believe, like, if you took me back 3 years ago and be like, oh, you would care about stitching on a mouse pad, like you'd be so meticulous about it, I'd be like,
okay,
serious?
so
Really?
I have a name suggestion now for you. Why don't you say Vince the Monk?
On YouTube, yeah. I'll put YT in my
Can't touch it. Don't touch it.
I'll put YT on my Origin username on Battlefield, so they'll know where to find me.
What about Gally is asking, what about mouse mats? What?
Since
those are bigger, you could find the best mouse mat.
Okay, so Galatron, underneath my mouse pad, there's a mouse mat. So I've got a mouse mat. If I could suggest a mouse mat that might be pretty good for a lot of people, it would be the Aqua Control Plus for someone who wants a little more control, and the what's it called, the Equate
Plus
for someone who wants a little more speed. You can get those in pretty huge sizes. So I've got an answer. I've got an answer for almost everything like that. So like you're saying, Mizzy, that is something that has been brewing for a few months now of like, I should put my experience and just obsession to work. I really should. It would be a waste not to.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it's all all about creating content and spread it as far as you can, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's have another fun question. What is the luckiest thing that ever happened to you guys? Also in chat, what is the luckiest thing that ever happened to you guys?
Lucky.
Definitely finding Cassie.
Oh.
Because we wouldn't be sitting here and doing
It's
this.
so funny.
If it
I had
wasn't for
I had a few questions I took out because I knew Vince would say Cassie.
Yeah. So that I'll give two answers, but definitely that's the first thing that comes to mind.
No, that's absolutely okay. It's just it was funny.
Yeah. It's just the first thing that comes to mind because the community that we all have, because we all kind of like share a community. I wouldn't have known any of you guys if we didn't do this together. So that's what I'm like. That's almost just like astronomical luck that things would align to be where they're at.
Ultra butterfly effect.
Yes. Like things had to happen a certain way. And the other thing I think of is, I don't want to like name names just because like it's a past life, but landing the gig in one of the bands I was in that kind of like gave me a taste of what it's like to be a rock star, I guess. Like gave me a chance to play venues and to play stages I never thought I would. It gave me a chance to tour. It gave me a chance to put years of commitment to work and see where it goes. And I was very fortunate and lucky for that. And that's the second thing that comes to mind.
No, I would agree. The first thing would be I'm very lucky to have met Vince and my life to take like a really unexpected turn. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I just thought of this one right now, and it's making me a little emotional to think about it, but I'm thank you.
She's a sensitive being.
I'm sensitive, okay? Listen, I'm sensitive. But I'm very lucky to have had my stepdad come into my
her life.
Yeah. Yes.
But
Mizzy, what have you done? No,
I'm sorry. I have this effect sometimes. The hardest part for me is not to start crying with you. Believe me. But I actually didn't know. It's totally good. Let go or breathe or take a moment, whatever you need.
Yeah, because just how he positively impacted my life, my mom's life. It was, and
he's a puzzle piece that kind of.
Yeah, and he has other kids who have become my siblings, and I love them so much. And
yeah, he's a great guy.
He's amazing.
He's a great guy. He picks on me a whole lot, but he loves me.
Yeah, he does. He loves me a lot. So yeah, I would say that's probably a really lucky thing that's happened.
That's amazing. I'm happy for you. But now there's a problem that you can't see each other so often, right?
Yes. Yeah. And then I have like a new nephew.
Yeah.
That I've seen him like 5 times in my whole life.
Yeah.
And like that's a little hard. So like not being able to see these people it's a little rough.
Because he arrived. He was born. He was born like as the pandemic hit. He wasn't he? Yeah.
Like a year before, but then it's just.
But he's like a baby.
He's a baby.
But now he's like a person. He's like a little person.
He's a little boy now.
Yeah, they grow so fast.
Yeah.
And so we haven't seen him a whole lot before we moved because
he's adorable.
Pandemic, and then now we live 1,000 miles away.
I'm not like we're not like kid people. But like from the second I saw this baby, I went in the garage and I told Cassie, like, his name's Ezra. I go, I love Ezra. And it's something that I can't just explain, but I just because I was the youngest in my family until him. So for 30 years or so,
You were the baby.
I was the baby of the family.
Mm-hmm.
And then now there's a new baby, and I'm like, I love this baby, and I never loved a baby before, and I love Ezra. And I was like, that's just weird. And she looks at me, and I'm like, I don't know, it's just a thing. And now, and he's really cute. He's
that is so
Italian.
weird that you say that. Like my sister, when I have two sisters, and I'm the first one who got kids, and I'm the youngest one. And my oldest sister is 11 years older than me, and ever since I had my first kid, somehow my sister and I connected really deep through that kid. And my oldest one is now 5, and I think it was about 1 or 2 years ago that my sister said to me, "It's unbelievable. I'm so grateful for that you brought your daughter into my life, because it's the first time in my life I felt unconditional love."
Yeah.
And I mean, this was not the first thing I thought about when I got a kid, that I could give my sister this gift. Like, she started crying over this, it was it was weird, and I think kids have this magic still of just,
they can melt a person that's like unmeltable at times.
Yeah, and they're like, I don't know, they always have these open eyes and open arms, for each and everyone, and they're not judgmental, they just take you as you are, and they reflect immediately to you how you are. And
a card says they can make the toughest person melt.
Right?
And he's cute. He's like Italian, Native American, and Korean. So he's a little cute baby.
Yeah. He's like a little Gerber baby.
Ooh, that's mean.
No,
you can't do anything. He's so cute. You can't do anything about it. Like, you can do whatever you want, and he's just standing there.
Oh my gosh. He when we saw him, we saw him when we went home to visit it probably like a month ago now. And he's just so funny. Like, he kind of like he's kind of a shy kid. He doesn't like really talk a lot, but he'll come up to you and he'll like look at you and like hand you something and then like run away.
Like, he just wants to get here, take this. He won't say anything. He'll just here.
Yeah.
And then just runs away.
And then he'll like look at you. Yeah, he's funny.
Kid stuff, it's fun. It's fun.
So you guys, that's a difficult question. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to ask that, but you guys don't want to have kids because you said you're not a kids person, or you just say, well, we have time, or
we're not planning on it now.
No, we're not planning.
It's not something I ever foresaw for myself.
Oh, fine.
And I like hard chilling too. So I mean, that's like, for me, it's like I like my time, and I think I like it too much to where I know, like, here's the thing though, if like I had a child, things would just change,
because we would love that kid, and
things would just change, and that's the way it goes. But like, foresight, just knowing how I am as a person in my own like personal space, and kind of how I am as the person I am here right now, I like chilling too much. I think I like just hanging out too much to like have responsibility like that. I just don't think it's for me,
and that's totally fine. Doesn't have to be for everyone, Was just
catalyst. Vince's attitude is poor. He needs to be chilling. That's kind of a motif in our stream. Sometimes, as especially Battlefield streamers, you'll get tilted, and you'll get kind of, get a little upset, and then I'll check myself during the stream. I'll be like, sorry guys, my attitude is poor. I'm gonna try and turn it around. But that's the running motif, is that my attitude is often poor.
Yeah. And then between like our families, we have several nieces and nephews, and then extended family nieces and nephews. There's a lot of children in our lives. And I don't necessarily feel the need to have one of my own. Something that I do want, and I really want to be able to adopt a lot of like elderly like cats and dogs, and like give them like their golden year retirement.
That sounds
for
great.
the rest of their lives.
That makes me want to cry. That makes me want to cry.
So like I feel like
love old animals too.
Yeah.
All the ones we follow on Instagram are all like super old and crusty. I love.
So this was a quirky question, guys. Again, they explicitly only follow animals on Instagram which are old.
I guess so. Yeah.
The more scraggly, the more like just weird they look, the more I love them. I love like the kind of dog. The kind of dog you'll show somebody and they'll be like, "What's wrong with your dog?" I love that. That's the kind of dog I like.
Yeah. So ugly, they're cute.
Yeah, it is great.
Thank you,
All right.
Sawtooth.
All right, next question. Where in the world would you like to wake up tomorrow?
Ooh.
TwitchCon 2022. That's a joke.
It's pretty good though.
It's pretty good though. A hotel, going and hanging out with friends at the next TwitchCon. That sounds pretty good. I know I'm kind of joking about it, but that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Hanging out with Julian. Hopefully Mizzy's there.
Oh, too far away. Too
Hopefully
expensive.
Catalyst. We hung out with Twitch with Twitch. We hung out with Twitch himself. Now Julian Jing, and we spent a lot of time with Julian at 2019 TwitchCon.
I heard that.
And that was like honestly like before the pandemic, and it was a totally different world. Totally different life, it seems like. And that was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
So that's my answer. I guess that's where it goes. That's where it goes to. Yeah.
What about you, Cassie?
I'd probably say waking up the same city my family lives in.
That's nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Switch
the topic before I hit a button here again.
Before you make sensitive Cassie
it's
weepy again.
Hey,
So get on.
I'm the same way. Cassie, are you also a person like who's like if there's a scene on TV where you need to cry, you're the first one who starts crying?
Every time.
Okay,
it's so
same.
frustrating.
It's frustrating.
I think
like me and my sister, when we are watching, like we are sitting then there and we know the scene is starting and I don't dare to look to her side because if I see that she already starts crying, I can't hold it back. But so we are both staring at the TV like
who's gonna crack first? Who's gonna crack first? Who's gonna ruin it for everybody?
It's terrible.
No, I can't even nowadays. I don't even watch any heavy movies or any sad movies. I can't right now. I'm opting out of that for a bit.
I was gonna like interject and be like, I think from knowing Cassie that she like avoids watching things because like I'll be like, oh, let's watch this. She'll be like, that's too heavy.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, okay, like I get it though. I understand it completely.
Yeah, I'm a sensitive being. Okay, I'm a sensitive being.
It's true.
And sometimes I just need to work around it for the well-being of everybody involved. I do ruin it for everyone, Catalyst. I do. I'm too sensitive.
I just tweeted you, Mizzy.
Straight
to your. I just tweeted a dog to your Twitter, just so you know.
You tweeted a dog to my Twitter?
One of the just random dogs that we follow.
All right. What? Oh yes, okay. I saw it. All right, I will.
I guess I would loop back to the quirky question. We obsess over old dogs on Instagram daily, every day.
So here we go, guys. I'll bring the old dog on stream. Oh wait, why is it so small?
He's small.
It's small.
It's Arnie. Get him. We love this dog as if he were our own dog.
Yeah, yeah. So every day when they posted a new photo, I'd be like, Cassie, look at Arnie.
Yeah.
He looks like a little Chewbacca.
Yeah. Why does he look like Winston Churchill? Yeah.
He looks a little bit like Winston Churchill.
Definitely does.
Definitely. All right. Come on, next question here. I think I didn't even ask anything, like 5 questions, and we're already talking for 90 minutes. That's great. I don't want to hit a sensitive button here.
I love how the
So like,
how the dog is still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. we leave it there. We leave it there for a second.
Should be my new background.
What is the one thing that should be taught in school but isn't?
Oh,
Completely different, I know, but I mean, it's not so sensitive, right? I'm not hitting any button right now.
I learned absolutely nothing that helped me in my real day-to-day life.
Yes. Teach me how to be an adult, to navigate the world without having to like feel so lost. Like you shouldn't just be thrown out. Like, oh, they don't tell you how to do taxes. They don't tell you, how to apply for anything. They just, here you go. You had to ask
finances.
To use finances for sure.
Yeah, finance is probably the top. It'd be like, oh, here's some
how credit works.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
Like,
but instead, here's Pythagorean theorem. Go out there, get a what?
And then you have to go. And then here. Okay, we're gonna teach you something like that, and then you have to ask to go to the bathroom all the time. And then there you go. You're free. Pay taxes. Like what?
Go out there and be somebody.
Yeah.
Go out there and be somebody.
Yeah.
Champ.
Emotional intelligence is a really good one too. Bloody Slayer.
Yes. How to be like a person with other people, respecting other people, and just society, like things that will improve society. Though I don't think that's really taught all that much.
Yeah.
I feel lucky to be raised by who I was raised.
Yeah.
That made me who I am.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of that needs to be instilled in school too. Bloody Slayer, sex education.
No, honestly, mine was so shit that nobody knew anything. Everyone had to find out on the internet because sex education was so shit at my school. Like, really? It's like disappointing.
I think there's so many topics actually when you think about life that nobody teaches you, and I feel there are two things. Like, from the one side, the state probably expects the parents to do a lot of parenting and education from their side, but I mean, we see how that goes, right?
Yeah, but it's just
some parents suck.
Yeah. I mean, that's unfortunately true.
I mean, it's not like you become a parent and you know what you're doing. Like, really,
I bet.
It's like if you get your kids, you're learning every day. And with each day they get older, you learn with them. And if you're not willing to learn, I guess then you suck really bad. Like, because it's a process, right? And
yeah. Like they're doing interviews at my job right now, like where I work, and I feel bad even saying this, but I'm seeing like some of the applicants come in, and like there's just a way that one carries themselves where I'm like, dude, like you need to be like coached a bit before going and like applying to places. Like I'm seeing some of the body language and lack of, and it's just these things that aren't like taught that are super important.
Yeah. Everyone just expects you to know.
Yeah.
I don't know how it was in your field where you worked, but you had sometimes interns, right? Like from schools which are working, nothing like that?
No, we don't have anything like that in our where we work.
Or do we have
we have the kids that come in for
new
part-time
people,
jobs.
like young
New
guys
people?
that come in? Sure. Yeah.
Do you see a difference when you see new people when they are young, just come from school, to older and more experienced in working?
Yes.
Yeah. Some good, some bad. So the good is that they're definitely a lot more in like enthusiastic.
Yeah.
I say it's more stoked to do the job, and some are happy to interact with people, but then like the negative is some don't know how to handle it and don't know how to handle situations and don't know how to talk to people who and then as far as like people who've been there a long time and very experienced, a lot of the times you can be great, sometimes you could be really jaded too though. So that's I've noticed like people who are burnt out and people who are fresh, and a lot of the young people are happy to do the job and learn, and some of them just can't though because lack of experience. So that's a tough kind of dual-edged sword. But I kind of go in the category of I've been at the job so long that I don't really think about it all that much, but I notice when someone else isn't talking to someone in a way that you should when you're conducting business, especially as like a salesperson or like a sales representative, because I do a lot of like sales and stuff like that. So a lot of the right questions, a lot of the reading body language, it's a lot of figuring things out and figuring people out and reading people is most of the job. So that's something that a new person doesn't necessarily have, but you can learn it over time. But the again, the con is sometimes you get pretty jaded and you get burnt out, which happened to me. So now I'm at a place where I'm not there as much, and we moved to kind of make that happen. But yeah, that's kind of where I stand on it as far as new people and old people that have been there.
Yeah, because we get a lot of kids that are still like in high school, even working at my job as well, and it's interesting to watch them learn how to navigate or not learn.
Yeah, continue to make the same mistakes over and over.
until they have to be let go, so that hopefully they learn from that. But it's interesting to see how these kids will either learn or not learn how to conduct themselves in that kind of environment. And it's kind of unfortunate how often they don't, at least how I see like at my job. So this loops back to maybe we should teach kids more to how to prepare to be in a real world environment where your actions have consequences and matter.
And I think it also goes in a bit of a loop too, that once you educate those people, you'll have better treatment throughout. Yeah. Like society itself will have better treatment towards workers, better treatment towards strangers.
Yeah.
People will just interact a little bit just better in general, I think, over time, as you teach one generation, the next generation enforces it. And
yeah, for sure.
Not that the customer is always right, but sometimes they're wrong, you know.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about if kids should learn in school about failure and how to deal with failure and how to grow from it. But because I feel like the system we have is kind of counterproductive. Like, you know, it's not about how you got there. It's about, did you get there or not, you know?
Yeah,
you get an A or you get a B or whatever it is, but it's not about what did you do to get this A or this grade, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel when I had like young people coming into my job that time, they were frustrated because they didn't get the best work in the beginning, and then they left the job pretty quick, or they didn't leave the job and never did the job good.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I feel it was always a problem that they started the job with a very difficult mindset of not seeing the whole picture. Like, okay, I try to learn now all the basics, and when I'm good at that, then I can get a better job, you know?
Yeah.
It's interesting. All right. If you could go back in time, what advice would you give your younger self? And you pick whatever time it is in your life.
This probably only pertains to who I am right now, but I'd tell my younger self to like dive into building PCs and get into doing tech reviews way early on, like early 2000s. I'd say get into it then. That's what I would have probably told myself. And this answer will probably change in a year, but as I sit here right now, that's the first thing I think of is like, one, invest in Bitcoin, and two, get
I think that's what we all tell us, right?
Yeah.
And get into the tech world. Learn about these things early on, because it's going to be super important later on. And people are going to look to you for advice. And not that, you know, I want to be like a YouTube star, but it leads to other things. It leads to the industry. It leads to potentially landing gigs on bigger platforms and stuff like that. So I would have said be a personality early on. And I maybe would have said, it's a tough one too, because I as I sit right now, I'd say like put the guitar away, but it also kind of shaped who I am. So it's kind of hard to tell myself that. But I maybe would have told myself to like actually have a backup plan, because you'll have to figure it out of nowhere later on in your life, which is fine. It's we're all going at our own pace. But I think that's what I would have said too, that like this will be less important to you as time goes on. So don't worry about like hanging on to it so much.
Somebody gotta pee. Go for me as well, please.
Go for Mizzy as well, she says.
No, that's interesting. I think I would tell myself, go for. I always forget that I never worked in travel for a year. I don't know if you know that, but you like you can go, for example, as a German. It's probably the same if you're from the United States, but you can go to Australia for a year and do work and travel, and New Zealand.
Cool.
And I always regret I never did that in the 20s because I was too afraid. I thought about it a lot and didn't do it because I didn't have, the courage to do it.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, because that's like a scary experience. I mean, even going from where we were to here, I can see how like it's super unknown. You don't know what's gonna happen, and then it could be like a comfort thing too. Like things are okay here where I'm at, and you don't want to disrupt what's working. I definitely feel that, but then in retrospect, it's like, oh man, I wish I would have done this and done that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not too late, right? I mean, I still can.
No,
so
definitely.
It's just not the same as if I were, in the 20s.
Like I only have one gray hair. We're good.
I have a few more.
I got my first one sometime recently, right?
Yeah, I noticed it just the other week.
Yeah, I got one just silver hair.
That's okay.
You can't see mine because I dye it, but.
And I go, oh, it must be like a dead follicle or something. It's not. It's not gray.
Did you? I think you didn't answer it, Cassie. You want to answer, or you don't? You don't have to. What was the
no. Something I'd probably go ahead and tell my younger self is, don't be afraid. Don't be so afraid to put yourself out there and be a little more social, because people are probably going to like you a little more than you think they will.
It's nice.
It is nice.
Or else some dude's gonna come at you and say, hey, get on camera, we're gonna play Battlefield.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's just something I always struggled with growing up, was just like how to navigate social situations. And then I was super unwilling to even put myself into those situations because I'm like, oh, no one's gonna like me anyway. There's no point.
Did anyone ever dare harass you on stream with Vince?
Oh, all the
Jeez,
time.
all the time. Like yesterday, the day before that.
Yeah. But the thing is now, it's just it rolls right off my back. Like it's just some dude on the internet, just block them and move on. But I used like looping back to me being a sensitive teen. I used to be a lot more sensitive with stuff like that, so I would just totally avoid even just putting myself into those situations to begin with.
Wouldn't it like affect your next stream? You'd go into it like nervous, like someone's gonna talk shit on me or something. That's how it happened. That's how it felt with me too. Some dude's gonna call me fat. Like that's how I'd be like, oh, some guy's gonna call me fat. It's gonna hurt my feelings. Now, I don't care anymore. It's like, dude, like, it's part of being a streamer almost. Yeah. People are gonna come in there and try and like
put that
rattle you. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like you got to think like, I would never do that to somebody. I don't have the time to do that to somebody. Like, first and foremost, I don't have the time to go into someone's stream and be like, "You're fat." Like,
what are you
know what I mean? like I don't have. It's not in me to do that. So you start to think about the person that does that, and you're like, okay, you put yourself above that person immediately, and it stops hurting after a while. Like it took me like a year or so to even get okay with it.
You know what's really interesting? I can remember the exact insults that were said to me when we first started, but I can't remember any of the recent ones.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
They sat with me heavier than.
You're emotional connected to them.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just thinking about it the other day because I had a bad experience when I was gaming and I was not in a good place myself. And every time you're not in a good place and somebody is like harassing you or naming you or whatever it is, then it affects you more, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
exactly. It's just.
I'm sorry, Cassie.
No, it's fine. I'm a better person now for it. I'm able to handle myself in situations. Like, it sucks that you have to go through shit to be a stronger person, but I'm a stronger person now.
And I think like now the mindset is when someone says something, you're like, the dude's a mouth breather.
Yeah.
Who cares? Some idiot on the internet's gonna be like trying to upset me. Like they're trying to upset me.
Yeah.
That's like super funny now. Now it's hilarious. Now it's like you're really coming into here, typing on your keyboard. You're trying to make me mad. That's like hilarious to me now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is, even if you say like, okay, it's just going off my shoulder, in a way it is in your brain and it affects you. And I think it's very sad if you, I really feel some people don't get that this shit is really affecting somebody's mental health.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
true. It's probably case by case too.
Yeah.
It's probably case by case.
And I realized what happened to me was on Call of Duty and Warzone, and I don't really report people, but this guy made me so mad. I wanted to report him. And then I realized you can't even report that dude. I can't. You can only report people for cheating.
Yeah,
I don't know, right? I mean, I could have
harassment.
Yeah, but there is nothing. There's no button for it. There's nothing.
Yeah.
And this is something like you have to get so used to this kind of behavior these days. It's ridiculous. And I don't know. Do you see that anything the gaming industry should do? Should there be a better reporting system? Should there be?
They would need jobs for that, which I'd be super down with. I'd take a job like that, but they would definitely need to put the money into it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem, is that I don't know if these companies are willing to sink money into this, but I'd sign me up. I'd love to take down a racist, or you know what I mean?
Like, because I don't know, because I don't know how you would deal with that, because there's just so much. It's a huge rabbit hole.
Okay,
to go
look,
down.
what you could do is, for example, everything you record, you could send this recorded footage to them. This is a simple way, because if let's say you're playing Rainbow Six Siege, right? And you have a problem with your sites. What you do, you go to the Rainbow Six Siege forums, you type in, I have a problem with site ABC, and then they will have community representatives sitting there, and they will ask you specifically, do you have this problem recorded? Then please send it to us so we can take a look. So why can't you take a look at somebody being harassing you, right?
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
Because yes, I get it. It costs money and everything, but in the end, I want to enjoy playing games. And if I can't enjoy playing the game because of somebody being not nice to me, then this should be a reason enough to do something about it, because this is part of playing a game.
Back. Yeah.
So I feel like it changed so much over the last years, this kind of behavior, and there should be happening something about it. I don't know.
I think, and it could be because like I could potentially filter it out, and it still bugs the shit out of me though, I guess. But like I think that maybe some games are just taking the ability to interact with each other out as well. Like maybe game chat's going to be gone, and you know, interacting with the enemy team will be gone at some point. I don't know if they'll do that, but I think the lobbies where you comm with the entire lobby, it's not really a thing as much nowadays. where you're in a lobby with comms going all over the place and people are, you know, talking about each other's moms and stuff, you know, like that. And
I mean, even now, how I said that I wouldn't comm at all with anybody ever previously, I still will not comm with randoms. Still will not. Like, I'm not just willing to put myself into that situation. Like, anybody we comm with now, we establish a friendship before they're even a voice.
That's a funny thing. I actually love doing that. And I love doing that from the perspective of playing Battlefield, because in Battlefield I never had really issues like that. Rarely. But on Warzone, it's like
a different story.
Probably every second game now.
Oh, wow. That's way too much.
And I really love using the comms. And I also love, to be honest, right now, I see it as a challenge that it's not affecting me, because it's affecting me every time, and I hate it. And right now I'm trying to figure out a way how I can get, well, like a damn, what's the word?
Calloused?
Yeah, like it's just not, yeah, it's just not affecting me, you know? No, I'm looking for another word. I had that with Scribble Ninja actually in the podcast. So we named even the title for that. It was such a good word. It will come to me later. but anyways, yeah, I just unfuckwithable.
That's nice. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's a perfect word for it. And I'm still working so hard on it. I'm the same as you when it comes down to being emotional. I'm taking, even if a person I don't know, but if they say something to me, I'm kind of take it in. I question myself, and I know from a rational standpoint, like, this is stupid. You know, you don't have, you know, you're not responsible for this person's life.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're probably never going to talk to this person ever again. So why does it matter?
Why?
But you still think about it.
The thing that got me through it, just to touch back on what I said earlier, the thing that helped me was knowing that the person behind this keyboard is probably miserable, and not that I even pity them, because I don't feel bad for them. I don't they're toxic,
just be nice
pricks. I don't care about them in that way, but I do feel like a sense of like being above that kind of behavior. And that's what helped me, is knowing that like my behavior doesn't sink that low. Sometimes I can get a little shitty though, but I try to keep my behavior in check. I won't just like harass somebody though, you know. That's kind of where I draw the line. But a little smack talk here and there for fun, if it's just like, you know.
You never started though.
I never started, but you know what I'm saying, like there's a difference between just like harassing someone. And I think when it comes down to that, that's what helped me. When someone's trying to just come after me and harass me, it's knowing that like this person is just below me as far as like they don't have
contact,
communication skills. They don't know how to talk to people. They're probably super miserable, and that's sad. So like that's kind of where I stand on it with people who are coming in to troll and be just garbage people. Like, these people probably have horrible parents. They probably maybe potentially abused. Who knows? Like, they don't know how to like conduct themselves, so they have to take it out on other people. So
like the other side of that is, alternatively, if they just came in and said something nice, they'd probably have friends.
Yeah.
And it like change their own situation.
And then I think about like their circle of friends, if they have any. It's like, I don't want any part of that. Like, so that's how I overcame it myself. Is just knowing that I'm above these people. I'm the one that's like, you're coming to our stream. You're the one coming to our stream. You're the one pressing enter and typing something. Like, I'm not going into theirs.
Well, they probably don't even have one. It's
exactly.
Many times it's just empty accounts.
And then another rabbit hole. You just opened up another rabbit hole. Who's doing that? Who's opening up, making new emails and making up new usernames? Like, these are weird ass people. Like, these are potentially like just sad individuals.
Yeah.
And that's where I put my head. Like, these aren't people who I should let affect me.
Yeah.
This doesn't work for me somehow, and I don't know why. I tried that. I don't know. It's something else. I need to find this switch in me.
It might be very similar to what I was saying, but it might just be a timing thing too.
For me, it's always the timing. For me, it's always like, what kind of day is it? Am I stressed or am I not stressed? And if I'm stressed, it's affecting me immediately. If I'm not stressed, I laugh it off, you know? It's always me.
I will say I don't calm with random people though as well. Like so I'm coming from a place where maybe you calm with random people, so you interact way more with random people. I don't do it.
Yeah. The only situation we would run into is if we're live and someone were to come into our stream chat.
Yeah, but then you know that person. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, and then I always like DM the person that's going in chat before, letting them know, like, one, we're not gonna push to mute ourselves like while we're streaming. Like, we already have tons of buttons to press while we're live to do scene transitions and to do like the switch between Cassie and I. We're talking the chat. Like, I'm not going to introduce a push to mute. I'm not going to do that. So no, when you go into our comms, you're going to hear everything. You're going to hear it all. Yeah. So if that's cool with you, come on in. If it's not, you know, and I tell them, like, we're going to talk to chat a lot. So you can't be like screaming. You can't say racist shit. You can't like do these things. Like, I know there's a lot of people who don't take it as seriously, but like, we take it very seriously with like people who have come into the stream a few times that we've known for like maybe even a year. We always approach them with like, these are the rules and this is how it's going to be. If you're cool with that, come on in. If you're not cool with it, you can hang out and not be in comms. It's totally fine. But just know that's how we conduct our stream.
It's your stream. It's your business.
Yeah, because who we have in comms is a reflection of us.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I can't have Catalyst HD coming in there being all sexy all the time. You know what I mean? I gotta.
Also, he would steal all your kills. I mean, sorry, Cat. How a good turnaround here. How do you find peace if you're stressed? Do you have any kinds of routines you're doing, like meditation or making music? Going for a walk?
I have a houseplant hobby.
A what?
That's probably a houseplant hobby. I have a lot of houseplants. So it's like my quiet break away from anything technology related, internet related. It's just me doing one quiet thing by myself for a bit. And it's
houseplants? Explain it to me.
Yeah. What? Just I have like a lot of indoor tropicals. They're just like just plants that I like to keep.
Plants.
Yeah,
okay.
House plants. Yeah.
I was like, plants. She's making plants for the house or something. I was like, what is?
No,
that?
yeah, I just have a lot. I just have a lot of plants and pots inside.
Plants. That's nice.
I'm
the opposite.
I have a lot of joy. No, oh no,
killing them.
No.
And then
I always forget them.
Because I find a lot of joy in that, because it's really rewarding, because you get back exactly what you give to them.
Yeah, that's true.
You give them good care, proper watering, proper light. You're going to get a really healthy plant. You're going to feel a sense of accomplishment from that. And
so you're growing also maybe even your own veggies and stuff like that? Or do you
that
have
I wish.
The space? You would like to do that, right?
I would love to do that. It's just I've never had the space to do that. But it's on the list for sure. And then our more recent addition of Lilu, our cat. She's great. She's just a little delight. She's always happy to see me, and if you can have a pet, have a pet. It's a really rewarding experience. So I'd probably say those two, or just playing even like a single player game. Those are probably like my 3 finding peace things: is houseplants, my cat, and playing like a single player RPG with my headphones on for a little while. It's gotten me through a lot of stuff.
Yeah, for me, I think probably like sitting down and like editing videos and doing that, because it's just like hours go by, and I sometimes a whole day will go by, and I've edited like maybe like 1 minute of video, like a whole day, 8 hours will go by, and it's like, oh cool, I got a minute. That definitely calms me down a bit. And then like cleaning my setup, like cleaning the mouse, cleaning my like before every stream, I'll get like
guns.
yeah exactly. Before every stream, I have like a bunch of these like these are like super nice these are jeweler's cloths, and I go through everything and I like make sure there's not like a speck on my mouse pads, nothing, every single stream. So that's something like I do probably compulsively, but it's fine.
You definitely don't want to have kids.
He's very meticulous. Very meticulous.
Or you have to teach them how to clean very quickly.
Yeah. I think a lot of it's to my detriment though. Like I'm like detail oriented is a very nice way to say it. But then I'm also like very not organized too. So it's definitely what's up?
Depends on the thing.
It depends on the thing. So it's like definitely a duality of hypercritical detail, and then also like, oh, I don't even care about that. It's like there's no middle.
That's interesting. I love it. You're really a monk. Vince a monk. I'm stuck with that, man. I'm stuck with that name now in my head. Yeah, it's already 11. God damn it. Let's do a quick more, just because it's simple questions. Name me 5 things on your bucket list, like you want to do in your life, like 5 things you want to do one day, which are important for you.
One for me is I want to own a custom-made guitar.
Also for you in the
at
chat,
some
by the
point.
way.
Yeah, I want to own a custom-made guitar that I pick the color, the wood, the dimensions, the length, everything. That's one of them. I want to be able to have that one day. Maybe you pick one now.
Definitely giving old animals a good retirement. Adopt old animals, let them have their golden years, and because they don't get the chance that kittens and puppies usually get.
Get in shape.
Oh, I have a second one for Cassie, and making an Instagram account for these animals.
Oh yes, that'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah. Second one for me is probably I want to get in shape.
Yeah, I want to get back. I used to be really like fairly active person. I would say that I would like to get back into like a gym routine.
Is it his fault?
It's probably, I don't want to say it's anybody's fault.
I think we enable each other.
But we enable each other, and then we focus on the stream more than anything else. So if we're up late doing the stream, we sleep in too late, then there's the only thing we have time for is to get up and do the stream again. And it's just a cycle that feeds itself.
Sometimes it feeds it poor food, poor choices.
Yeah.
So that's something that I definitely want to change myself.
It's
healthy
quite
habits,
challenging to break routines.
Yeah.
I get that. Anything else? Anything crazy?
Oh, crazy.
I want to go to Japan.
I was gonna say going to Japan too. Okay. I just think it'd be really fun to go. I've never been out of the country before. Yeah, I haven't been anywhere.
I've been to Canada.
Badly want to go to Jiwa's Sushi. You know Jiwa's Sushi?
Is that like one of those like you have to be like one of 5 people of the day that get to go? They're like hyper reservation kind of places.
Yeah, I think he takes like 8. I think the number was 8. 8 people can have a dinner, can have dinner there like at once. And that was even before COVID. It's probably 4 now.
Yeah. That's just one of those. Yeah, I know of I think I probably know the one you're talking about. That's probably the one that I know of. That's like that. Very exclusive.
There was a documentary on Netflix once I saw, and oh
That's
wait,
it.
yeah.
What's your name, new hero?
Jiwa's Sushi. I think even the name of the documentary. And
was it like Someone Dreams of Sushi?
No,
I think that was one of them.
Yeah, it could be.
But I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Have you ever heard of a Chef's Table?
Mm-mm.
It's also a series, and it's I'm so in love with this series because it's showing these kinds of really interesting restaurants all over the world, right? But they make it in a very, very interesting way. And right now, I have a list of these restaurants all over the world I want to go in one day, you know? So,
Nice.
so and I'm thinking right now about like traveling the world with this list of these restaurants.
Uh-huh.
It's stupid. I will never be able to afford it, but just thinking about it, you know, makes me smile. So
I definitely get
I
that.
keep having this list.
When we went back home, we went last month. We went back home to California last month, and we hit like every restaurant.
Oh, our favorites.
All our favorite restaurants. Man, I'm losing my voice here. Jesus Christ.
Here, take some water.
So I definitely get like, oh, we had to hit the restaurants. And what was great, what was super nice is we got to take my mom to one of
our favorites.
Okay, so we're both vegan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We don't talk about it.
We don't
on
talk
stream,
about it. Don't come
ever.
for us.
Why?
Yeah, we never talk about it because people don't like vegans. And
So who cares? You want to
I
attract the
know.
people who take you the way you are anyways, you know?
Yeah, I feel you. But it's just one of those things like it starts debates and then we just want to have a good time. So basically like she came with us to one of the restaurants that we love going to. It's called Loving Hut. It's in Orange County, California. And my mom is, I don't know, she doesn't seem like the kind of person that would be down to go. You know, I'd be like, oh, you should come with us. She'd be like, nah, you guys go ahead. You
have fun.
You go have fun. We're like, oh, okay. But then this time she went with us and she loved it. She absolutely loved it. And I was like, so like, it seems so validated. I was like, it's so good.
Yeah.
And people like are like, nah, I'll take the real stuff.
They'll write it off before they try
like
it.
it's gross. I'm like, no, it's just
It's
good.
just food. It's just plants.
It's not a taste that I like what's
Acquired.
it called? Developed it, acquired a taste for. Like, no, it just tastes good.
It's just food.
So yeah, that was
Also,
that was really nice.
Also, it's like I feel like if you go to a vegan restaurant, you will eat stuff you probably already ate in your life, but it tastes so different just because the way it gets cooked is also different. Sometimes I don't know. I really like I'm not vegan, but I like to go sometimes to like a vegan restaurant or try something else or. Yeah, definitely agree with that. And they have some crazy things there as well.
Yeah.
Definitely new stuff.
Yeah. And they come out.
How's it in Texas compared to California being a vegan?
Dude. Oh, it's so
eat
gnarly.
a lot. Yeah,
Right?
There's literally nothing. There's nothing here.
Yeah, because California is very like, you know, more
Yeah, you can
modern in
put
that
in
way.
Google Maps, you can type vegan restaurant and then like pick one out of 5 that are in a 10-mile radius and go there.
Have a good one, Mexican homie. Thanks for coming in, dude.
But yeah, here
thank you,
there's like
ma'am.
there's like an Indian place that we get occasionally. That's like about it.
That's pretty good. It's
It's
pretty
really
good.
good though.
We should get it today.
Okay.
It's been a long time. We only went like twice, I think, so far.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm hungry now. What desperately needs to be modernized, in your opinion?
I know there's something. I know there's things that I
There's
know
something.
of.
My graphic card.
Yeah, right. People who use checks, stop doing that shit.
I was gonna say the same shit.
Stop using checks, everybody. Just stop that shit. Like, let it go.
Or just trying to to pay for anything official, like government wise. Government is still very like hard paper. Or it's like, when we went to apply for our marriage certificate, for example, they didn't take any like card payment. You had to get like a cashier's check. So we had to like figure out, where do you even go to get a cashier's check? Because I have not needed one up until this point.
That's
It's like,
crazy.
why can't we just?
And
Can I
that's
just
crazy
give you
for
my
the
money?
US.
Yeah.
I mean-
it's like they didn't even take cash. They didn't take card. You had to like go and get like some bullshit document check. Like, why? Why?
That's really weird. Because especially like in the US, everyone is used to playing with credit card. Like,
yeah,
that is weird.
yeah. Just I would say less paper documents in trying to like navigate anything with the government, because like people don't even have printers anymore. Like we don't have a printer.
Yeah, and I've never needed one.
I've never needed a printer until like we start to like try to do like government stuff. It's like, what decade are you stuck in? Like listen to you? I don't know.
So guys here in the chat, there's your chance. If you have any questions to Cassie and Vince here, just put them in the chat.
Yeah.
We will go for another 10-15 minutes, and then we are going to wait somebody lucky. So if you have any last question, also Cylon, if you're still here, please do me a favor and post the links again in the chat as well. So
wanna grab Lilu?
I can go get our baby cat.
Yeah.
She can make a guest appearance. Be right back.
Yeah. I have one.
I could show you my mouse pad collection.
Yes, right. I have a beautiful last question for you guys. I mean, I have actually a lot of last questions, but I have one good question, and it won't make her cry, so that's good. I hope so.
Cool.
Damn.
So as far as speaking of mouse pads, I the last ones I've gotten were imported from Japan. So that's impressive, right, everybody?
Tim vegans over here. Printer shaming me.
Printer shaming, bro.
Printer shaming, for real. I'm so sorry, man.
Bloody Slayer wants me to imitate Chonky Boy. Okay. Chonky Boy was a cat that we found, and we brought him to a shelter, a very nice shelter.
Hey, sweetie.
And we found him. We kept him in our apartment for a few days.
Because there's
thunderstorms and stuff like that. This is like last week. And then we got him to a shelter. Really nice people. But he wants me to imitate Chonky. We call him Chonky Boy.
That is funny.
That's Chonky Boy.
Because he would just have the same meow over and over and over, like a soundbite.
It reminds me of this Instagram video that was going around about that girl who made a complete track only with the noise of her cat.
Oh, that's great.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I sent you the link later. You probably saw it. It did go viral. I loved it. So you're back here now, Cassie. We said we have one last final question here. If you could talk to everyone in the world simultaneously, what would you say? Like everyone could hear you now, the whole world. Everyone would listen to you. What would you say to them?
I would tell them to be kind to other people and be kind to every creature, honestly, because it costs you nothing, and everything in the world would be infinitely better if you just did that one thing. I truly believe that, because there's no reason to be nasty, to go out of your way to be nasty or cruel to anything or anyone for any reason. It would solve 99% of the world's problems.
I couldn't have said it better myself. That's kind of where I would be. I'm not trying to dodge the question, but that's where mine would be. Exactly right there.
Be nice to mouse pads.
Hey, want to see my mouse pad collection?
Yeah. This is your one chance. You can hear me all.
Everyone can hear me. Follow Vince and Cassie on twitch.tv/.
Right? That would be actually smart.
Oh, it'd be the craziest marketing
come on,
ever.
Cassie. Nobody's listening to you anyways. Be kind. I mean, what are you talking about?
I mean, if they would listen, that'd be sick.
No, right.
But,
absolutely. I'm just joking him, and no, it's great. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm just. I
know it's like a very pageant answer, but
no, it was totally good.
It just astounds me how unkind people can be. So, I would like to fix that.
That's because of our lifestyle and because of like who we are as people, that's a subject that comes up daily.
Yeah.
And I know it seems like a pageant kind of answer,
I know, it does.
but it's something that comes up day to day of like how we conduct ourselves and like why can't, not that like we're better than people, and I'm not trying to say that, but like some people are just, dude, come on, get with it, you know what I mean? And that subject comes up quite a bit. Like, do people know how they're treating people?
Yeah.
Do people just like take an outside perspective and just see how you're treating people? Like, even if you're not trying to be rude, like some people can just be that way. They're the way their voice sounds, their body language, they're just offensive at times.
Yeah, because I work in customer service. So every time I'm at work, I'm treated unkindly for something outside of my control that I had no part of.
So it's a very relevant
it's a relevant answer.
Yeah, for the kind of stuff that we do day to day.
I think many things come together. Like, I feel like when it comes down to customer service and jobs like that, it probably got worse because of COVID as well. Like,
absolutely,
you know, and if you think back to what I said like 10 minutes ago about myself, like when I'm stressed, you know, and I have to deal with a situation which is not pleasant, then I react stressed.
Yeah.
And not kind sometimes, right? So, and if you think about like COVID, the stress level for many people, you know, is now triple or even worse, you know?
Yeah.
Like for me, the one thing that came into my mind when everything started with the lockdown, you know, imagine, I always said to me like, damn, I'm so lucky, you know, I have an apartment and I have a little garden. You know, so I can just, you know, throw the kids outside in the garden and say like, here, go eat dirt, you know, have fun.
Sure, yeah.
Right? So, but imagine, you know, all these parents living like, you know, have no balcony, being there in the house, stuck, you know, and all by themselves. Nobody will help them with whatever issue they have.
Yeah.
And I think it's not even you don't have manners. It's I think for many people right now, being friendly, it's too much.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about when it all started. Cassie and I were discussing like how fortunate we were to be doing what we do at a certain time in human history. Like this is like the one time in human history where like being an online presence and being a streamer and potentially having people on lockdown is like not necessarily detrimental to what you do. It's like one of the only industries where you're like, oh yeah, people are home and people can watch and we're interacting and we're not like necessarily missing out on a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's one of the only fields I can think of that are, I wouldn't say like not affected, but like almost it just grew in popularity.
Right. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm somewhat preferred lockdown. I feel
Yeah.
Do you think we have I don't know why I get to this right now, but it just popped into my mind. Do you think our main problem as society right now is that we have this situation where everything is always like how you say, like polarized, like you have always poles of beliefs. Like I give you an example: pro-Trump, against Trump, pro COVID, anti-COVID. You know, it feels like there's always this polarization. You know, you're either for it or you're either against it. You know,
everyone's always pitting themselves against each other for one reason or another.
It's hard for me to have an opinion on that because I am a spectator.
Look, like okay, I'll give you another example: AI bots in Battlefield 2042.
Yeah.
Like when you go over the Twitter feeds, you know, and you see people having a discussion about it, many times it's not about the subject. It's only about are you for the matter or are you against the matter?
Yeah.
And it's so funny because there is nothing to be for or against because you don't know how it looks. You don't know how it works. You never saw it. You know, it's like
I feel like there's, I don't know, like this is like one of the things that Cassie and I talked about before, the whole like this podcast that like I'm not saying I won't get into it, but I was like, I really need to watch how I say things because I don't feel at all. I feel like I don't feel at all like the rest of the Battlefield community. I feel like we both feel like outliers.
Yeah, because we're just like, hey, it's not out yet. We've only seen pre-alpha gameplay. We're just gonna kind of wait and see,
We're gonna
and then
wait and
decide once it's
see,
out.
and we're gonna just stay positive because it's been rough.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people like that too, but we are the quiet minority. We don't say anything because we get shit on by people who are big brain, who will tell us like, you don't know anything. It's like, dude, like, look, we're not trying to be elitists. We're trying to be hopeful, and we're trying to be positive because this is our lives we're talking about here. We're trying to like what we do, that we do every day. We're trying to stay positive, and we've had a rough time with Battlefield lately, like a lot of us have, and now we see some light coming our way, and I'm very I'm happy with where it's going. I'd like a new game to play.
Yeah, we're excited. That's our answer when people ask like, oh, what do you think about Battlefield 2042? It's like, oh, we're kind of excited to have a new game to play.
And then we have people come into our chat like, oh, it looks so fucking horrible.
Yeah, but
I'm like, dude, just relax, bro.
They just
be happy you're getting a new toy, dude. Be happy with your new toy. Give it a chance. See how it goes. I didn't really even like Battlefield 5 all that much until about, honestly, 30 to 40 hours of gameplay into it. Then it clicked, and I'm like, okay, I'm in the game now.
Yeah.
But I'm giving it time. I'm gonna give it time after it comes out. Okay, for instance, Apex Legends. I have fun with it. I've had fun with it. I'm really bad at it. Cassie's really good at it. And I did 100 hours of that game before I gave it my judgment. 100 hours. I gave it a long time to where I'm like, I'm going to test this out and give it a chance. But when a game is not out yet, like I'm going to not attack it. I'm going to not have my pitchfork and my torch out. I'm just going to be happy something new's coming out and see what happens.
Yeah.
I just don't share the same outlook that a lot of people seem to have.
And then I'm also not willing to like fight anybody over it either.
I think Sawtooth, I want to get to this. I think why am I addressing this? I'm thinking a lot quite lately, also because of what we are doing here with GWC. Like this kind of, I would say it's kind of a behavior of judging everything by its first look, or trying to take a side. It's kind of like it feels for me like it's becoming a habit of how we act as humans and society.
Yeah.
And I feel it's kind of sad as well, because we are missing the point of having a real discussion about things and not taking stuff too emotional sometimes. And when you break it then down to gaming, what does it mean for this kind of mindset when you're a gamer is when you look to Warzone, for example. We had that the other day. We had a kid in there, and every kill, this kid was screaming about, he's a cheater, he is a cheater. And this is the next thing. Like, now we're assuming every time you get killed, this has to be a cheater. And I mean, you play PC on Battlefield 5. I think you have the same issue that you have almost in every server. You have now a cheater running around, right?
Oh, yeah. Closet cheaters,
and
obvious cheaters, for sure.
So the thing is that, but for me, it doesn't matter. There's a cheater or there's not a cheater. For me, it really doesn't matter in the end. Yes, it sucks if you lose against a cheater or you really know there's a cheater. But most of the time, from my perspective, I can't tell if that is a cheater. So I just don't care. I got killed. I move on.
Or you hop out of the game.
You bounce
hop out
out.
of the game.
You just
right?
bounce. You bounce.
You bounce, right?
Yeah.
And I just hope that this will change. I really hope we get an anti-cheat so we get back to a normal level of I got killed because I was not as good as the other guy. I mean,
or outpositioned, or just exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. It makes me thinking a lot, at least, what I see and how how we tend to communicate these days, especially on social media about stuff.
Yeah.
I just think that if you have a platform where people are coming in and you don't enjoy what you do, maybe you just don't enjoy it. Maybe you should do something else. If after years and years and years, you're just like hating the thing, maybe you don't like Battlefield. Like, you know, like, I don't know. I don't know. That's just my perspective. And as far as like my chat, our chat goes, we just try to keep it positive. And if people have opinions, that's fine. But if someone's just shitting on it, that's where we kind of draw the line. It's like, look, dude, like, you're coming into, we're playing a game. We're trying to have a good time. We're trying to have fun.
Yeah.
That's all. That's period. That's where we're at. That's how we kind of conduct our stream. Just trying to have a good time, good vibes.
I just saw Goliath. I don't know if the question was for you guys. Thoughts on the Battlefield community as compared to other communities for other games and FPS games? Did you see the difference?
That's hard because I don't think I've really ever been in another community. We've kind of dabbled in Apex and stuff like that. I have noticed it could be because just more people are playing Apex.
I was gonna say the Battlefield community is a very small pool in comparison to other FPS communities.
Yeah. Apex, we've noticed like a lot of nice people, but we didn't spend enough time in there to see if there was like a behavioral difference.
Yeah.
Because
like there's a lot of really nice people in Battlefield.
Tons. Yeah.
So I don't know how.
I guess for Goliaths, it's hard to answer that because I haven't spent enough time in other gaming communities. I've heard that like Siege is rough, and I've heard like Overwatch is really rough as far as like temperamental players. I don't know if that's true.
We don't have any personal experience with that. But regardless of which game we're playing, we're just probably going to choose to spend time with people who are just nice.
Yeah.
Regardless of which
I mean,
game
I think
it is.
it's also pretty difficult for you because you're avoiding comms, right? So you basically
we don't com with randoms.
Yeah. If we like it, if we like a person's vibe in our chat, we might be open to having them in comms if they're like cool about it. But the person that's like, hey, get me in the comms, we're like, bro, it doesn't work like that. Chill the fuck out. But like, if we like a person's vibe, we'll get them in because we know we can trust them and we know their behavior and their patterns in a way. But if some dude comes in and he's like, I don't know, like critiquing the gun we're using and you should be doing this. Did you know the bullet velocity of? It's like, all right, bro, like chill out, dude. We're playing a game, we're having fun. And we notice someone's just very pushy about things, backseaty, just being like just a little over the top. That's the person we're like, we don't com with everyone, dude. Just so you know, we love you, we like you being here, but you seem like a problem. No, I don't say that. But like you can tell off people's vibe, and more often people are cool. Yeah. More so people are cool because we kind of pre-screen them in a way. I know it sounds like elitist, but it's like you said, it's our stream. It's the way we do it, and that's just how it goes.
Yeah, Kat says here, like basically in every competitive scene, you have more toxicity, and Sawtooth said like he has been active in Battlefield Destiny Division and Apex communities, and for him it was more or less the same.
I would see that being true.
Yeah.
Because like in the end, we're all playing video games. We're all. I don't know off firsthand, but I would assume. Yeah. I would assume. Yeah, Squeezy, we all have the same mic.
Yeah. We all have Rode Pod mics.
Yeah.
We made sure in the beginning before we set up the stream that we all had the same mic, so it looks better, you know.
Yeah, and we
all wore black too, so we're all coordinated.
We sent each other Amazon links so that we can order the mics and everything, just so you guys know. A lot of prep went into this, so you need to respect Mizzy.
I mean, alone the beginning of the stream, which not all of you saw tonight, was perfectly planned. when this
Yeah.
super expensive mic decided to drop.
Oh, it's great.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome, everyone.
The first thing you hear is,
Oh my goodness. Damn, that's me. Yeah, I'm so sorry, guys, but we have to find an end. As always, my brain is stops to work at 0.11, which was like 26 minutes ago. It's every day the same, like, and I can't make it. I'm trying to drink coffee and all the stuff, but it's just 11. Mizzy is done.
I feel you.
It's terrible. So, well, first off, thank you all here in the chat for being here from the beginning to the end, or just a few minutes. It doesn't matter. Thank you all for showing up here, for being active in the chat, for for everything you did, guys. It's such an amazing vibe with you here. And yeah, thank you so much, Cylon, the moderator here in our stream. Thank you for putting out the links again. If you have never followed or never seen Cassie in here and Vince, please check out their channel, give them a follow, check out their streams. They always say very warm welcome to you if you have never been there, or if you come back. It's always nice to join their streams.